Doc, I've been doing it the same way for 50 years, but now something just feels wrong. That quiet confession came from a 72-year-old man, no major health issues, still active, but something inside had gone numb. He thought it was just aging. But after 6 decades working with men over 60, I can tell you, it's not age. It's what's happening in private. Quiet habits that slowly rewire your brain, weaken your body, and steal your spark. Hi, I'm Dr. Kara, and today I want to talk about something most men never bring up: masturbation after 60. No shame, no judgment, just science, and one simple truth. Your brain, your hormones, your nervous system change with age, and if you don't change your habits, you risk losing far more than pleasure. Mistake number 1, overusing pornography. It overwhelms your dopamine system, already more sensitive in older age, leading to numbness, loss of real desire, and emotional disconnection. And that's just the beginning. In this video, I'll walk you through the 7 most common mistakes men over 60 make and how to fix them to reclaim energy, intimacy, and confidence. If this speaks to you, like this video and share it with someone who needs it. Let's begin.
Doc, I don't feel anything anymore. I still go through the motions, but it's like my body just isn't there. That's what a 70-year-old man told me, someone who, on paper, was healthy, good heart, good labs, no major medications, but something had quietly changed. And here's what I want you to understand. It wasn't his age. It was something far more subtle and far more common. I've spent over 60 years walking beside men as they navigate the challenges of aging, and what I'm seeing now, more than ever, is a hidden crisis that starts in silence. Too much pornography and not enough real connection. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not here to shame or scold anyone. This isn't about morality. It's about your brain, your hormones, your nervous system, and what happens when they're pushed beyond what they were designed to handle, especially after 60. As we get older, the brain's dopamine system, the very thing that gives us pleasure, drive, and emotional energy, naturally declines. It becomes less flexible, less responsive, and slower to recover. So when we flood that system with high-speed, high-intensity adult content, especially on a regular basis, we're overwhelming it. You may not feel it at first. In fact, at the beginning, it might seem harmless, maybe even helpful. But over time, that constant stimulation numbs your nervous system. The spark fades. Touch doesn't feel the same. Intimacy becomes more difficult. And worst of all, you begin to disconnect from your own body. Some men start to wonder, is this just what aging feels like? But I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. This is not just about arousal. It's about emotional connection, mental clarity, and the sense of vitality that every man deserves to keep, even into his 60s, 70s, and beyond. If you're finding it harder to feel, if you're sensing a dullness where passion used to be, don't ignore it. Your body isn't broken, it's just overwhelmed. And the good news? You can heal it. In today's video, we'll dive deeper into this first critical mistake and show you how to reset your system, restore real sensitivity, and bring back the emotional clarity and energy you may have thought you lost forever. Because I promise you this, you haven't lost it, you've just been overstimulated. And there's a better way forward, one rooted in understanding, balance, and reconnection. If this message speaks to you or to someone you care about, please like this video and share it with another man who might need to hear it. We don't talk about this enough, but the healing starts with the conversation, and I'm honored to be part of yours. I've had many older men come into my office and quietly admit something they thought was harmless. Doc, I usually do it in the bathroom, on the toilet. It just feels private. And I get it. For many men over 60, the bathroom becomes one of the only places in the home where there's true solitude, where the door locks, where the world can't intrude, and where routines feel safe. But today, I want to gently but clearly tell you this. Masturbating while sitting hunched over on the toilet may be doing more harm than you realize, especially as you age. I'm Dr. Kara, a urologist and preventive medicine physician who has spent over 60 years helping men over 60 maintain their strength, confidence, and independence without shame, pills, or guesswork. What most men don't know is that as you get older, your circulation becomes more fragile and more vital. Healthy blood flow is the foundation for sexual function, prostate health, bladder control, healing and recovery. Now picture what happens when you're seated on a hard surface, leaning forward in a cramped position for 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. That familiar position on the toilet? It compresses your pelvic floor, restricts circulation, and places unnecessary pressure on your prostate and bladder. Over time, this leads to swelling of the prostate, groin discomfort or aching, post-urination dribbling, incomplete bladder emptying, and gradually a decline in overall sexual and urinary function. The truth is, your body wasn't built for that position, especially not repeatedly, especially not with age. And most importantly, your prostate is quietly begging for more space to breathe. The good news? The solution is simple. Change your environment. Instead of sitting hunched forward on the toilet, try standing upright to promote natural circulation, lying back in a relaxed posture that allows blood to flow freely, or reclining comfortably in a private setting where your body isn't under pressure. This isn't about judgment, it's about physiology. It's about recognizing that what used to feel convenient might no longer be kind to your aging body. Because after 60, your health isn't just about your heart or your numbers. It's about how you treat the quiet, hidden systems that hold everything together. So if you've been experiencing any discomfort, difficulty with urination, or a sense that something just isn't working like it used to, this small adjustment might make a big difference. If this insight helped you or made you think of someone who could benefit, please like this video and share it with a friend, a brother, or a father. Because sometimes the biggest improvements come from the smallest changes, and every man deserves to age with comfort, dignity, and control.
Doc, I just get it over with. Quick, easy, no big deal. That's what one of my longtime patients, age 68, told me when I asked about his private habits. And I hear it more often than you might think. I've spent over 60 years caring for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I want to speak to something most men never consider. How the pace of self-pleasure, when rushed, can silently rob you of the very benefits it's meant to bring. You see, after 60, your body responds differently. It needs more time to feel, to circulate, to release tension, not just physically, but chemically. When you rush the process, whether out of habit, boredom, or just trying to get it over with, your nervous system interprets it as stress. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing shortens, your blood vessels constrict. And here's what that means. Instead of getting a full release of feel-good hormones like oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, you only get a fraction of what your body is capable of producing. These hormones are essential. Oxytocin calms the nervous system and strengthens emotional bonds. Serotonin improves sleep, mood, and memory. Dopamine gives you drive, motivation, and that spark of satisfaction. But when you rush, you cut them off at the source. You may climax, but you don't feel restored. You may finish, but still feel tired, disconnected, or even emotionally flat. Many men assume, I guess that's just what getting older feels like. But in reality, it's often the result of years of conditioned urgency, a habit of treating pleasure like a task instead of a moment of connection. Here's the truth. Your body still works. Your sensitivity still exists. But it needs to be invited back, not chased. So what's the solution? Slow down. Breathe deeply. Give yourself permission to pause. Let each moment be intentional, not mechanical. You don't need to prove anything. You're not on a stopwatch. And most importantly, you're not broken. You're just rushing through something that deserves presence. Over time, this shift in mindset can completely change how you feel. More energy, not less. Greater connection, even solo. Deeper satisfaction without strain. So, if you've been feeling tired afterward, less interested, or like something's just off, I encourage you to try slowing down. The results might surprise you in the best way possible. Because aging isn't the end of joy, it's the invitation to rediscover it.
The hidden muscle that controls so much more than you think. Most men don't know it has a name. Fewer know how it works. And almost none realize how quietly it starts to fade after 60. I'm talking about the pelvic floor, a group of small but powerful muscles that act like the engine room for a man's lower body. I've worked with thousands of men over the past 6 decades, and time after time, I've seen how this overlooked area of the body holds the key to maintaining confidence, control, and pleasure as we age. Think of the pelvic floor as the foundation that supports erection strength, bladder control, climactic sensation. When it's strong, everything flows. But when it's weak or ignored, the signs creep in slowly. Occasional urine leaks, weaker erections, diminished sensation, a vague sense that something's off. Unfortunately, most men don't connect these symptoms to a muscle group at all. They blame aging, they blame medication, some even blame themselves. But the truth is, this isn't about blame, it's about awareness. And here's the good news. This is one part of your body you can retrain starting today. Just like strengthening your arms or core, you can begin gently activating the pelvic floor to rebuild connection and control. Here's the simplest way to begin. Next time you're aroused or even just relaxed, try lightly tightening the muscle you would use to stop the flow of urine midstream. Hold it for a few seconds, then release. No straining, no pushing, just awareness. This small movement does a few powerful things. It builds neuromuscular awareness, helping your brain and body reconnect. It supports prostate function, reducing pressure and inflammation. And it improves blood flow, helping sustain stronger, more responsive arousal. You might not feel results overnight, but stay consistent. Over time, I've seen men regain not only physical strength, but emotional confidence. They walk taller, they feel more in control of their bodies, and they stop fearing the slow decline that too many people assume is inevitable. Let me be clear. If you've been struggling with bladder issues, fading sensation, or intimacy that doesn't feel like it used to, you are not broken. You may simply be disconnected from a vital system that's asking for your attention. So don't ignore this. The pelvic floor may be hidden, but its impact is anything but small. Because aging with dignity begins with understanding and reclaiming the parts of ourselves we were never taught to notice.
How often is too often, and can too little be just as harmful? One of the most common but least discussed questions I hear from older men is this: "Doc, how often is too often?" They're talking about masturbation, of course, and it's a fair question, one that deserves a thoughtful, respectful answer. I've spent over 60 years helping men over 60 navigate the physical, emotional, and hormonal shifts that come with aging. And today, I want to talk to you about something many men wonder in silence. What's the right frequency when it comes to solo sexual activity? Let's start here. There's no magic number, no one-size-fits-all rule. But there is a sweet spot, and falling too far on either side of it can silently take a toll on your health. When it's too much. Some men, especially those dealing with loneliness, stress, or boredom, find themselves over-relying on the habit. At first, it may feel like relief, but over time, I've seen the effects creep in. Mental and physical fatigue, irritated or inflamed prostate tissue, a dulling of true sexual desire. Why? Because the body can't always keep up. It needs time to recover, hormonally, neurologically, even emotionally. When pleasure becomes routine rather than intentional, it stops restoring you. It starts draining you. When it's too little. On the other end of the spectrum, some men stop altogether. Maybe it's due to medication. Maybe they've lost a partner. Or maybe they've simply been taught that this part of life should be over at a certain age. But here's the reality. Going too long without any sexual stimulation can also cause harm. Penile tissue can weaken and shrink due to lack of blood flow. Sensitivity may fade. Testosterone levels may drop further than necessary. Just like a muscle, these systems need gentle, regular activation to stay alive and functional. So, what's ideal? For most healthy men over 60, I recommend a range of once or twice per week, practiced with presence, not pressure. It's not about performance, it's about connection to yourself, to your body, to your energy. When done with intention, slowly, gently, and mindfully, it can support hormonal balance, improve mood, maintain erectile strength, and remind you that this part of your life is still meaningful. So, if you've been wondering whether you're doing it too much or not enough, just know your body is speaking to you. You just have to listen. Because the more we talk about these things openly and honestly, the more empowered we all become to age with dignity, health, and peace.
Doc, I don't feel as much as I used to. It takes more effort, more pressure. Is that normal? This is something I hear more and more from older men who are otherwise healthy, intelligent, and in tune with their bodies. But over time, something quietly shifts. And most of them think the problem is age. But it's not just age, it's force. I've spent over 60 years working in men's health, and today I want to talk about something important and rarely discussed: the damage that can come from using too much pressure during masturbation. Now, I understand why it happens. As sensitivity naturally decreases with age due to hormonal changes, circulation, and nerve responsiveness, many men instinctively press harder, grip tighter, or apply more friction, thinking it will help recreate the sensations they once had. But here's the truth: force doesn't bring feeling back, it takes it away. As we age, the delicate nerves around the penis become thinner and more fragile, the tissues lose some of their elasticity, and the blood vessels that once supported strong, pleasurable function become more sensitive to trauma. When you apply too much pressure, whether through a tight grip, a hard surface, or aggressive friction, what you're actually doing is causing micro tears in the tissue, triggering inflammation and scarring beneath the surface, disrupting healthy blood flow, even leading to curvature of the penis or long-term nerve desensitization. And this isn't just discomfort. Over time, these small injuries can lead to permanent reduction in sensation, pain during arousal, and the gradual loss of what should be a deeply fulfilling experience, even into older age. Many men tell me, "I just want to feel something again." But the body doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to presence. So here's my advice: slow down, be gentle, listen to your body. Treat your body not like a problem to fix or a task to complete, but like a partner you want to connect with. Use lighter touch, take more time. Let arousal build gradually instead of forcing it into place. It may take some unlearning, but what you gain in return is not just physical sensitivity. It's peace, it's pleasure, it's a new relationship with yourself. Because pleasure after 60 is absolutely possible, but it doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing it differently. Because the more we speak truthfully and gently about our bodies, the more we empower each other to age with confidence, comfort, and dignity. When touch becomes habit, and what happens when emotion fades? Doc, I don't even know why I do it anymore. It's just routine. That's something I've heard more times than I can count, and every time it breaks my heart just a little. I've spent over 60 years walking with men through the journey of aging, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. And today, I want to talk about a part of health we often ignore, but one that quietly affects everything else: emotional connection during self-pleasure. You see, many older men don't stop masturbating out of choice. They stop feeling something when they do. What used to feel alive, intimate, even joyful, can become hollow, mechanical, a way to fill time or numb loneliness. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your body may still function, but without emotion, the experience loses its healing power. When you touch yourself without connection, your nervous system doesn't produce the same chemistry it once did.
No oxytocin, the bonding hormone that calms stress and lifts your mood. Less dopamine, the reward hormone that fuels vitality. Little serotonin, the chemical that supports sleep, confidence, and peace of mind. Instead, you're left with a sense of flatness, a lingering emptiness, and for many men, this emotional void leads to something deeper: emotional numbness, isolation, and even depression. But let me be clear, this isn't your fault. This isn't about laziness, weakness, or getting old. It's simply about habits that no longer fit the stage of life you're in. After 60, the body changes, the heart changes, and what once worked may now need to be relearned, with compassion, not criticism. Here's what I encourage. Don't just go through the motions. Instead, slow down, bring awareness, treat the moment as something meaningful, not mindless. When you reconnect with your body, not just physically, but emotionally, you begin to unlock something powerful: healing. Your touch becomes gentler. Your emotions become more present. Your nervous system starts releasing those feel-good chemicals again. And most importantly, you stop feeling so alone inside your own skin. Pleasure, when approached with intention, can be restorative. It can be self-care. It can be a way to say, I still matter, my body still matters. Think of it like caring for a classic car. It still runs, but it needs a different kind of handling. Not less care, more thoughtful care. So if you've been feeling disconnected, emotionally numb, or like something has gone missing, I want you to know, it's not too late. It never is. If this message spoke to you, or if someone you love needs to hear it, please like this video and share it. Because sometimes the most powerful healing doesn't come from a prescription. It comes from remembering how to care for your body, your heart, and your soul.